How's it going, people? The Flannel Falls Venture Zone should be returning later today after reset. So for today's video, we're going to take a look at all of the modifiers. I'm also going to show some of the best loadouts you can use for Flannel Falls. And we'll also take a look at the rewards you get from the Flannel Falls Venture Zone. Dungeons should also be returning later tonight. So we'll take a look at the best loadouts you can use for that as well. But the first thing I wanted to point out is that this is a mini boss mission alert season, which means there's going to be an increase in the amount of mini boss mission alerts, which are these that have the little timer symbol next to them, which in turn means we're going to have more Vbuck missions this season for those who are founders. For non-founders, you'll see an increase in x-ray ticket missions. Technically, there are ways you can get a founders edition. I believe you may also be able to find some online. And I've seen those go for anywhere between $100 all the way up to like $400. So that may or may not be something you want to look into. If you can find a Founders Edition closer to $100, I would say it's probably worth it, because eventually you'll make your money back from Vbuck missions, especially during mini boss mission alert seasons like this current one. So that may be something you want to look into. But for all the founders, you should see an increase in the amount of Vbuck missions we have this season. And I believe the season's going to last until the first week of April. So if we take a look at the calendar and go to April, we have the weekly reset on Wednesday. So I believe it's going to last until April 2nd. So you'll want to check out Fortnite DB throughout the entire Flannel Falls Venture season, because you should see an increase in the amount of Vbuck missions we get. And I'll leave a link to where you see the Vbuck missions in the description. But yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to point out. Vbucks are back, baby. So playing Save the World over the next couple months is definitely going to be worth it. During this season, we're going to see Love Lobbers return, and we're also going to see Chrome Husk return. And for whatever reason, people struggle when it comes to Chrome Huskies. There's a couple of ways to get rid of them. The way you kill Chrome Huskies is by using a weapon that has either the water or the fire element on it. If you shoot them with any other type of element, they're just going to go down and get back up. Once you finish your blockbuster quest, the Chrome Huskies will go away, so that's how you sort of get rid of them permanently. Unless somebody in your lobby hasn't completed their blockbuster quest, then you still may see them spawn in. But if everybody in your lobby's completed the blockbuster quest, then you'll no longer see Chrome Huskies. And speaking of the blockbuster quest line, this should also return with tonight's update. It has a total of 11 pages. You'll be able to get some military weapons as rewards from this quest line. You'll also be able to get Carbide as a reward, as well as the Cloak Star Ninja. And you'll also be able to choose between one of these 4 blockbuster heroes. You'll definitely want to get Carbide as well as the Cloak Star, because they're both mythics. And plus, Carbide's really good when it comes to dungeons. But the reason you want to get them is because when you get Carbide, you'll also get the Underdog team perk. And when you get the Cloak Star Ninja, you'll get this round trip team perk. And that's the only way you can get these team perks, is by getting those 2 mythic heroes. So you'll want to complete the blockbuster quest line if you haven't gotten them already. Wukong should also return. He should be available in the event store for 3,200 gold. And I don't really use him that often, but since he's a mythic, you'll definitely want to get him, because when you get him, you'll also get this Soaring Mantis team perk. And this is the only way you can get this team perk. Another thing I should point out with today's reset is that they will be adding another hero loadout slot, and this will cost 10,000 gold. So don't forget to get that. Lunar llamas should also return with today's update, and those are the ones that give Lunar New Year heroes. So you should be able to get all of these heroes except for Wukong. He'll be in the event store, but you should be able to get the rest of these heroes from that llama. And when it comes to weapons, you should be able to get the dragon weapons from the Lunar llamas. All of them except for Dragon's Fist. I believe this one's going to return to the event store, but you should be able to get the rest of these from the Lunar Llamas. And we have reviewed all of the dragon weapons as well as the Lunar heroes. I'll leave a link to those reviews in the description if you want to go check them out. Also, if y'all would like us to do an updated review with these heroes and weapons, let me know in the comments below. Next thing I want to go over is dungeons. When it comes to dungeons, this is the #1 loadout I would recommend. So we're using Sub-Commando Jonesy as our commander with the Happy Holidays team perk. If you don't have him, you can just use Commando Spitfire, and these two are going to allow you to spam your minigun as often as possible, and that's going to help you destroy monoliths as well as kill the boss at the end of the dungeon. For our support team, we have Diecast Jonesy, Birthday Ramirez, Birthday Jonesy, Ted, and Fleetfoot Ken. You could also use Archetype Havoc instead of Fleetfoot Ken if you want. You'll also want somebody in your lobby to use a different variation of this loadout. Instead of using Sub Commando as their commander, you'll want them to use Diecast as Jonesy because he's going to help you kill the boss at the end a little bit quicker. So that's another loadout you could use when it comes to dungeons. You can also use a lefty and righty soldier when it comes to dungeons because they can also take out monoliths and kill the bosses quickly. In this first example, we're using Carbide with the Happy Holidays team perk. For our support team, we have Archetype Havoc, Sea Wolf Jonesy, Shock Trooper Renegade, Noir, and Raven. And this loadout is going to be good for all of the dungeons except for the lab dungeon. And I say that because the zip and zap lefty and righty can potentially destroy the taker tubes, which is going to spawn in a lot of mist monsters. So whether or not you want to use that on the labs, that's sort of up to you. But he's going to be good for all of the other dungeons. And instead of Carbide, you can also use Raven as a commander with the Happy Holidays team perk. Obviously, there's a lot of other loadouts you could use with dungeons, but those are some of the main ones I would recommend. Alright, so when it comes to the Flannel Falls Venture Zone, this is the one that comes with the Escalation modifier, and that's the one where you have to get like a certain amount of kills within a certain time limit in order to receive a buff. So when you get 30 kills within a certain amount of time, you'll get the nature burst, and that'll stun surrounding enemies for 3 seconds. When you get 60 kills, you'll get the fire burst. This will deal damage as well as apply a debuff, which will cause damage every second for a few seconds. When you get 90 kills, you'll get the dance party buff, and that refills your energy, and it'll also make Husk dance for 7 seconds. At 120 kills, you get the ice burst, and that deals damage and freezes Husk for 5 seconds. And after 150 kills, you'll get the energy burst, which deals damage, and it also increases damage Husk take for 10 seconds. If you're unable to continue the streak, or if you reach the 150 kill eliminations, then it'll reset and you'll have to start over. And technically, this used to be the modifier that we would see in Mount Meadows, but since they added Frozen Fjords and replaced Mount Meadows with Flannel Falls, now we see this modifier in the Flannel Falls Venture Zone. And this is the venture season that has the autumn maps or the Plankerton biome maps. So with this Escalation modifier, you want to use heroes that have short ability cooldowns and ones that can kill the Husk quickly. Obviously, you can use whatever loadout you want, but some of the ones that I would recommend are the same one we used for dungeons. So you could also use the Commando loadout when it comes to Flannel Falls because you're able to chain a lot of kills together with your minigun, and you don't have to wait that long in order to use your minigun again. So you should be able to rack up a lot of eliminations with this loadout. Another loadout I would recommend for Flannel Falls is the Dragon Scorch loadout, and with this one we have Dragon Scorch as our commander with the Blakebeard Stash team perk. For our support team, we have Willow, Privateer Hype, Snuggle Specialist Sarah, Blakebeard, and Crossbones Barrett. And the reason I recommend this one is because you can rack up a lot of kills with your Dragon Slash and your Throwing Stars, and you'll also get peg legs from your Blakebeard stash, which is going to help you keep those elimination streaks going. So this is another loadout I would recommend when it comes to Flannel Falls. If you're able to get a Xenon bow from a vending machine, I would also recommend this Stoneheart Farah loadout. With this one, we have Stoneheart Farah as our commander with the Blakebeard stash team perk. And for our support team, we have Rabbit Raider Jonesy, Redline Ramirez, Crossbones Barrett, Blakebeard, and Privateer Hype. So if you're able to get a Xenon bow from the vending machine, this is a loadout you'll want to use with it. Another loadout I would recommend using, especially when you're first starting out in the Venture Zone, is this Fossil Southie loadout because it's going to help you get your materials so you can build defenses and craft a lot of traps. So when you're first starting out, I would recommend using Fossil Southie as your commander with the Blast from the Past team perk. For our support team, we have Paleo Luna, Prehistoric Isa, Clip, Archaeologist, and Crossbones Barrett. Keep in mind that they did put a cap on the amount of coconuts you can hold, so if you want to replace Crossbones Barrett with something else, you can. You can also do a different variation where you have Archaeologist or Clip as your commander and put Fossil Southie in your support team. But this is another loadout I would recommend, especially for the first couple of missions in the Flannel Falls Venture Zone. Obviously, constructors aren't going to be as good when it comes to getting those elimination streaks because most of their abilities have a longer cooldown, but they're still going to be really useful when it comes to defense missions. So a couple constructor loadouts I would recommend is one where you use a power-based constructor as your commander. If you don't have power-based Penny, you can also use power-based Nox. They have the same abilities. But yeah, with this loadout, we're using a power-based constructor with the recycling team perk. And for our support team, we have Base Kyle, Bomb Squad Kyle, Electropulse Penny, Dyer, and Crossbones Barrett. And again, if you want to swap Crossbones Barrett out for something else, you totally can, but we're going to go ahead and stick with Crossbones Barrett for now. You could also use Base Kyle as your commander and put Power Base in your support team. And those are some constructor loadouts I would recommend if you plan on doing defense missions in the Flannel Falls Venture Zone. Another loadout I would recommend is a good Teddy loadout. And in this example, we're using Jingle Jess as our commander. If you don't have Jingle Jess, you can also use Metal Team Leader if you purchased that starter pack. Or you can use Enforcer Grizzly. They all three have the same perks. But for this example, we're using Jingle Jess with Happy Holidays. For our support team, we have Ventura Ramirez, Gumshoe, Trailblazer Quinn, Stare Down Southie, and Jilly Teacup. And this is going to be a good loadout to use whether you're first starting out in the Venture Zone or if you're doing high power level missions. It's going to be a really good loadout to use all throughout the Venture Zone. So those are some of the best loadouts I would recommend when it comes to the Flannel Falls Venture Zone. And the last thing I want to show are the Venture Zone rewards. And we're only going to look at the major rewards. At Venture level 5 and Venture level 10, you're going to get a Troll Stash Llama. At Venture level 13, you'll get a Weapon Research Voucher, which you can use to get weapons from the collection book. At level 20, you'll get a Hero Recruitment Voucher, which you can use to recruit certain heroes from the collection book. At level 25, you'll get a Survivor Supercharger, which increases your overall power level. At level 28, you'll get a Trap Supercharger, which increases the power level of your traps. At level 31, you'll get 2 Survivor Superchargers. At level 34, you'll get a Hero Supercharger, which you can use to increase the power level of your heroes. At 37, you'll get 3 more Survivor Superchargers. At level 40, you'll get a Weapon Supercharger, which can be used to increase the power level of your weapons. At level 42, you'll get 4 more Survivor Superchargers. At 44, you'll get another Hero Supercharger. At 46, you'll get 5 Survivor Superchargers. And at 48, 49, and 50, you'll get another Trap, Hero, and Weapon Supercharger. And not only can you get Superchargers from there, obviously you can get Superchargers by completing your weekly challenges, but you can also get Superchargers by completing your Venture Challenge quest. According to this image, if you go to the Flannel Falls column, you'll be able to get a Survivor and Hero Supercharger from the Directive quest. You get a Core Reperk and a Trap Supercharger from the Destroy quest. You get a Core Reperk, Weapon, and Hero Supercharger from the Eliminate quest. You'll also get a Core Reperk, Hero, and Weapon Supercharger from the Weapons quest. And you'll also get a Core Reperk and Survivor Supercharger from the Locating quest. So you can also get Superchargers from these quests as well. And that sums up everything I wanted to go over when it comes to Flannel Falls. Before I go, I did want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been using creator code A1. I appreciate your support. I also wanted to give a shout out to our YouTube members. But that sums up everything we're going to go over for this one. If you need help with the Venture Zone or with dungeons, be sure to drop a follow on Twitch, or you can try joining our Discord. We have a lot of people on there who are looking for others to play with. Anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.